Are you a god?
No.
Then
Ray, when someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes!
This Organized Chaos podcast is brought to you by JEMS Art Studio. JEMS Art Studio is an online store that allows access to prints that you can use for most anything, obviously as just a picture, or as a wallpaper, or as a bookmark, or anything you can think of. You can find JEMS Art Studio at etsy.com/shop/JEMS Art Studio. This podcast is also brought to you by listeners like you. Thank you. Hello, and welcome to an Organized Chaos podcast. Hey, I'm Bob. It helps if I remember my name. And with me is Bobby. We have a really exciting and just unbelievably adequate show for you today. We're going to be talking about lots and lots of Ghostbusters stuff. We're pretty much going to be talking about like the three movies in canon: the original 1984, Ghostbusters 2, and Ghostbusters Afterlife, the brand new one. How you doing, Bobby?
I'm doing pretty good. Went to go see it at one of the local theaters. Great movie, but can't wait to get into it and can't wait to talk about ghosts.
Yeah. Well, were there ghosts in these movies? I don't know if I saw any ghosts.
I believe so. There was a horde of marshmallow men.
Maybe one.
There were little tiny marshmallow men.
But what was it? Tuesday? I think it was right after the day after our last podcast. There was a new trailer that came out, so I think it's good for us to go ahead and sit down, and we're gonna go ahead and talk about the brand new trailer for House of Gucci. Lady Gaga really seems like she's gonna shine in this one. What do you think?
Yes, I think it's absolute total Oscar bait and just Hollywood trash.
No, Ridley Scott said Marvel movies are the worst, by the way. Which, speaking of Marvel movies, I think there is that little... there was that low-budget movie that was going to get a trailer, too. I think, Spider-Man something?
No, it was Hawkeye.
Hawkeye? No Way Home?
Yeah, exclusively to Disney+, yeah.
Okay, Hawkeye No Way Home trailer.
Yeah.
But, I want to say... I'm like over for someone who is completely like burnt out on Spider-Man No Way Home talk. I have to say I really like this trailer.
I do too.
This was fun. This kind of got me back into it.
But there,
and
I kind of really, sorry. I completely agree about that. Yeah, I'm kind of getting really faded with a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the mass hype. I mean, we talked about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of really excited for the release.
Yeah, I definitely want to see. Like, yeah, we can theorize about all we want, and man, there were hints with this trailer. And I'm not talking about the hints that kind of drive me nuts that people will talk about, like, oh, is this Andrew's hand in a Spider-Man glove? That's not a hint. Sure, maybe, but how can you tell? That's nothing. But there was a hint.
Yeah.
That really makes it obvious, really, that Sony is hiding something. And I'm of course talking about when the lizard gets punched. If you've been on social media, you've seen that obviously. That's kind of a big deal. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, it was obviously, because you just said that, and there was a trailer for it before Ghostbusters that I saw just yesterday afternoon, and I was looking very carefully. Like, that scene came on, and my eyes were just right on where Lizard was. And they cut to the No Way Home logo right before that frame, so maybe it's a new trailer edit cut that they had on the film.
Well, to my
But
understanding,
I have seen that.
My
I have
understanding.
seen that cut. I know what you mean.
Okay, well, to my understanding, I think it was like the Belgian version of the trailer or something like that had that.
Yeah.
And of course,
Yeah.
I'm sure they've taken it down by now. Although, if you really want to, I'm sure you can find it. I probably shouldn't have brought it up on the podcast, but you type in Google, you'll find it real fast. Lizard gets punched in midair by clearly either John Cena or Drax the Destroyer.
It was John Cena.
Oh, obviously.
Absolutely John Cena. You can't see him.
See who?
He'll come back. Yeah, well, he just like the WWE, he'll just come back for a paycheck.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'll go ahead and say, I think it's fairly clear. Yeah, Andrew and Toby are probably in it, but let's temper expectations too.
Yeah, let's set a bar for it just being the third in a Spider-Man series.
You know,
and I'd say set it about as good as you personally enjoyed Far From Home.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, this is the type of thing that blew up over WandaVision. Everybody blew up because it wasn't what they expected. It's going looking for a good Spider-Man movie. It's all I'm asking for. Because for all you know, Dr. Octopus changed his sides. Sony purposely digitally removed him, and he's the one that punches Lizard. That is...
Yeah.
I don't think that's it, but it's not impossible. The odds of that are not zero.
Yeah, and, anything's out of the realm of possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially since, Marvel and Sony have at least been able to come to find some level of agreement between the Spider-Man lore and rights, which is kind of crazy. I just think that, it's fiscally kind of like, I don't know, I guess arrogant of them if they don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to stress, I'm pretty sure Andrew and Toby are going to be in this one. But you know what?
Positive.
It's not confirmation. It's just me looking at what I see and being like, probably are. But, don't be like, hey, I bet $1,000 because Organized Chaos said this. No, don't do that. Don't do
I tend to think Andrew is like, I'm kind of leaning hard that I think he's in it, because the whole trailer I was watching and I'm thinking, okay, I see a lot. They're leaning hard into Doc Ock and, Green Goblin through this. So those are Toby's guys. For me, that's like, all right, that's kind of confirmation for me, because that wide shot of all of them and Tom Holland swinging in, that's kind of a big shot that we would see for that. But, in these films, typically they're the good guys are on one side, the bad guys are running at.
Yeah.
If they're using a shot like that, they're using that to show a lot of empty space on one end just for one hero.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of doesn't make sense, just to show that what he's up against, because they would just have the camera kind of behind him, so we would get it from his perspective behind him.
Yeah. That argument could be.
To me, that's just what makes me think of just the framing of that goes, okay, they're definitely, and the way it's moving, okay, it's meant to capture three objects swinging forward. That's kind of that's another kind of a confirmation. That's an interesting choice by the director. But hey, these are my thoughts. And also that shot of Mary Jane falling down, that looked familiar.
Yeah. Well, I think they've done it in every Spider-Man so far. So,
Hell yeah. So that's also kind of because they were calling back to the first three when they did it in Amazing with Andrews. So it's kind of
well, that's the other hint, I think, that they're
cool.
That they're in it when Dr. Octopus has Tom Holland Spider-Man to the wall, to the pillar, and he sees his face and he's like, "You're not Peter." That's an indication.
Yeah, so I think
Yeah.
yeah, and even he says that fancy new suit won't help you. So it's okay. Obviously, he's used to the mesh cloth material that Toby had on.
Yeah.
But the way that the shot they had of them asking Doc Ock if that was his real name, which is still that's funny.
Yeah.
That is kind of goofy. That's goofy fun. They're still kids.
But yes, I think it's fair to say we're all excited for it.
Yeah.
To be 100% clear, I think the only thing this trailer 100% confirms is that Willem Dafoe, at the very least, did some voice work for this movie.
Yeah, I mean, we got a clear shot of old school Green Goblin.
Yes.
The one that looked like the updated, I want to say, I did love that we saw like a split second of a clip of that, of him just zooming past. I love that we didn't get a good shot of that, but we got a great shot of that old school suit. And it kind of looked like it had a little touch of modern done to it. And I liked it, and I like what I'm excited. Also, Jamie Foxx's Electro looked pretty good, and Lizard looks pretty decent too.
He looks so much better. Well, it's what they're bringing
so much better.
It's essentially the main villain from all the previous Spider-Man movies except for the Holland ones. Which actually, you know, I am kind of wondering what you think. Who do you think will be the sixth member of the Sinister Six? Because that's obviously what they're going for. There's lots of different options they can take.
Well, Vulture's already been introduced. I really wouldn't put it past Quentin Beck, the character, to still be alive and somehow had staged his own death, but still decided to,
100% possible. That's
because this is like that is just like a Plan A, Appendix 1A. Of a plan for him.
Yes.
Like, yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, Shocker's already been introduced to. There's like a few that, but I don't see the point in having Shocker and Electro.
Yeah, no, that does seem a bit redundant. The biggest possibilities I see, that I would see there's any evidence for, in the Ultimate Spider-Man, the Sinister Six included Spider-Man. And it was kind of a clumsy storytelling device that they did to kind of clump them in there. They might try something like that. The other options, Michael Keaton has, of course, said he's filmed recent Vulture stuff. Is that for this movie? Is that for Mobius? Is that... We don't know. I'm thinking probably Mobius for that one, but or Morbius.
Probably.
But yeah. And then the other thing
Jared Leto brooding.
Oh yeah. The other thing I keep on seeing is Mysterio is very present in the toy lines for this movie. Which that's gotta raise eyebrows.
Fascinating. Fascinating.
Yeah,
because you know who wasn't predominant in the Far From Home toy lines?
Who?
Vulture.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, no. If you look up, like my son's really into Spider-Man, so I usually look at Spider-Man toys.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
There are Far From Home Lego sets that include Mysterio. There are, he has his own action figure in the series, and I haven't even seen Dr. Octopus or anybody like that. I've seen Mysterio, Doctor Strange, and 2 different suits for Spider-Man. So,
is it
who
that
knows?
Sweet badass black and gold one?
Yes.
Have you? Yeah, I was at a GameStop before the movie, and they had a kind of like maybe a 12-inch action figure of a Spider-Man like that, and it was like of the different suits from the movies, and yeah, that one I was like, ooh, look at that money.
Yeah, that. We'll have to see it in action, but that might be my favorite looking suit of the Tom Holland era so far. Yeah, maybe not Iron Spider. Iron Spider's really good.
It's pretty cool. I do really like the black and red alternate that he wore in Far From Home.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. That wasn't one of my favorites, like that. But I do like it. I don't think he has particularly bad suit. The only Spider-Man movie suit I'd say I would dislike was Andrew Garfield's from the first movie.
Yeah,
his suit in the second one was amazing.
Yeah,
too bad that movie was a pile of shit. But God, that was a great movie.
No, that movie was great.
Yeah.
It Paul Giamatti, man. Like he was
Sure.
Rhino.
Yeah.
That split second was great.
Oh yeah, he had 30 seconds screen time.
That movie would have been better if he was the lead villain. So much better.
I think Jamie Foxx is a great actor, but man, that character sucked balls. I hope they do him justice.
Well, he's not blue.
He looks a lot better. I like his look way better in this.
Which is funny because when I started playing the Spider-Man game for PS4, and Mr. Negative started showing up, but before they started referring to him, and I didn't kind of know who Mr. Negative was, found out through the game. I was thinking, oh, it's Electro. They're doing a takeoff that Garfield movie. That's weird they're doing that, and yet I could still play in Tom Holland suits, but okay, whatever. And then later found oh, that's not it. So I thought that might be how they're introducing Spider-Man through their lore, but no. Just kind of like a side note. It's funny that just because I think it's weird that they made him blue.
Yes, it is. They made him Dr. Manhattan really Electro. Except,
yeah.
Well, I guess they did the all-important thing of fixing his tooth gap.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Well, they did a close-up, so that way it'll help you remember.
Oh, it was distracting. Wow. Must have blocked that one out.
Yeah. Well, before we move on to Ghostbusters, I'm going to go ahead and do a call to action for you guys listening or watching. I have just a little favor to ask you guys. So, a little while ago, Bernie Sanders did a very Bernie Sanders-style tweet. We must demand that the extremely wealthy pay their fair share, period. This is like stuff he tweets all the fucking time. It's nothing fancy. Of course, Elon Musk had to get involved. And he just had to throw in there, I keep forgetting that you're still alive. Because, he's an asshole.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I know. So, just a little thing I ask. Every time I see an Elon Musk tweet now, I keep on just replying with, I keep forgetting that you're still alive. And that's just all I do. I reply if I see one of his tweets. I just say that. And all I ask is if you see that, add a like. That'd be awesome. Because, fuck Elon Musk. And if you're a fan of Elon Musk, I just want to say, for love of God, research him. He is awful. He's complaining about Bernie asking the rich pay their fair share. And honestly, he is a giant mooch off the government. He is the biggest welfare queen you'd ever see. He's a billionaire, and if it weren't for government grants, he would have nothing. So, just fuck him. So, yes. Hooray for Ghostbusters.
Yeah, sorry. I had to. Yeah, following, and yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters, 1984. Yes. So I absolutely love this movie. There's looking at themes, there's things I love and dislike about this movie, but overall as a package, fucking top-notch comedy. Like the perfect example of a special effects and comedy mixture.
It kind of shows how with early special effects how they were able to create just things you've never seen on film or captured before. You only see stuff like that in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of groundbreaking for that point. And even like the ghosts, they even today still look better than CGI.
Mm-hmm.
The demon dogs.
Yeah, well, I love
like that. They look amazing, and they're fucking puppets.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I was gonna say I don't like the look of demon dogs when it's obviously stop motion because that definitely looks janky. But when it's like just like sitting there, that looks fucking.
Yeah, like when it's in Lewis's closet.
Yeah, he's getting a coat
Like,
thrown
that's-
on it.
Yeah. Uber out the dog.
I was still kind of impressed Lewis had so many people at his party, man. I didn't know he was so popular.
Like you said, they're mostly clients, and I mean, I'm sure
He's probably good at taxes.
Well, I'm not only that. I'm kind of sure it was kind of to a point where they tried to say, "Oh, we can't. We got something to do. Also, I'll be seeing you on Saturday. We go right up to the Lewis. We said yeah. So Saturday, okay.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
shut up. Just shut up, Lewis. I mean, he seems like just a nice guy. Just has no social cues, and I think only Rick Moranis could play that role just so perfectly.
Yeah. A little bit disappointed he wasn't in Afterlife, but we'll get to that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I know. Oh, and I could tell you exactly where I think he would have fit perfectly. And it just would have been still true to the character, and it wouldn't have rang the nostalgia bell any harder than it had already been rang that whole fucking movie.
Oh no, that movie rang that bell hard.
it just sat back on it like Neil Peart.
Yeah. but
we'll get to that. Yeah.
But yeah.
No, this movie, yeah, it still has so many great one-liners, and it proves about well written and even like the openness to improvise scenes, because I know that Ivan Reitman let them improvise quite a bit, because Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray, they're kind of all Second City and SNL alums, so that's second nature to all of them.
And even if Ivan Reitman wasn't familiar with that type of filmmaking, Harold Ramis is there. He'd done Caddyshack a few years earlier, and all that was just people riffing off each other for the most part. And this kind of bare bones script, and that movie is fucking great. And that was Harold Ramis behind that thing. That was...
Harold Ramis.
But yeah,
this movie, yeah. So I think the one thing that I still, even as adult, I mean, even as a kid, I understood that Walter Peck was an asshole.
Oh yeah.
But like, I kind of think that from his character introduction to him with the warrants, that all seemed to happen really fast.
Yeah, it does. Well, I think not enough respect is given to William Atherton. Throughout the 80s, this guy just played this massive asshole. He might be the nicest guy in the world. He probably is. But God, he plays asshole so goddamn well. It's like this and Die Hard and Real Genius, the Val Kilmer one.
Yeah. Yeah, he was such a prick.
You hate him so bad. He's so great in those roles.
He has this ability to, whenever he appears on screen, you're just fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Just fuck that guy.
I
don't need a reason.
He just has the look of someone who just thinks they're better than you. You just instantly hate him so bad.
I would walk past him and think, I bet you he just smell. I would just go, he smells like narcissism.
Yeah.
Jeez.
He probably smells his own farts. Piece of shit.
But yeah, I mean, the character, he plays it so well.
I don't know if there's any actor I think of that plays that well.
I don't know. Yeah. I can't think of the guy's name. He was in one of the Harrison Ford Jack Ryan films. He was also in he plays in like those like military drama type films a lot. He was also in the first Mission Impossible. He's the guy who Tom Cruise first meets and he blows up the fish tank. Dude, he's having dinner with.
Oh, that guy?
Yeah. You I mean, know
he's not
who
bad,
I'm talking
but yeah,
about.
He's not William Atherton.
No, he's not. But I mean, he's
pretty good. Yeah, I'll give you him.
Yeah, he can play a prick really well
too. I don't remember his name, but yes. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of almost, again, every role I see that guy in, it's like, man, fuck him.
But yeah,
it's an asshole.
A lot of this movie, like, is based around. Well, obviously, it's a script by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis. Dan Aykroyd, famously, is has this huge interest in occult type stuff, and it like you can you can really see that here because that he wrote that into his character a lot, and kind of just the idea is just mixing that with comedy.
Well, yeah, and he's still the character. He still is like a doctor, I believe. They're all doctors, right?
Yeah,
except for
except for
character.
Winston,
yeah, he's just like your average Joe. He just wanted a steady paycheck. He'll believe whatever.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, that's pretty much.
He was the everyman.
Yeah,
and that's kind of great. Well, that's a great aspect that they wrote into his character. I think that's super likable. But yeah, they're all three doctors, and I forget what it is. I think what is it? Harold Ramis has what in molds and spores and funguses.
Well, that's like his hobby.
His hobby.
He collects them. Yeah, he collects molds.
He collects them.
Got it. Mold something in fungus. It's something like that. Mold spores and fungus.
I think he's. Yeah.
Yeah. No. That was also something I kind of wondered about, just randomly. Mainly because my daughter brought up. It's like, is Egon asexual? Like Janine's all over him, and he doesn't care. He is all into shit. I don't think they thought out that far, but
well, that deleted scene, that was the end credits scene of Afterlife.
Yes, well,
which is supposedly a deleted scene from this film, so I guess yes, we can talk about it. Yeah, where it's like I think it's right before they're going to fight Gozer. She wants to give him a coin that's from the World's Fair, and he says there's probably a chance I won't come back. You should really keep it. And it's like, it's okay, I have another one. So he kept it, and then it goes to the shot of her holding it in present day. So, yeah, I think it went from the granddaughter, Phoebe.
Yes.
Yeah, Phoebe finding it. Yeah, and that was kind of a nice touch, nice. And a nice way to actually reuse that scene and clean it up and make it look like they filmed it during filming.
Well, yeah, and also to bring Harold Ramis somewhat into Afterlife, which we'll get more into that because there's more. But yeah,
yeah. But that was good.
But
yeah, let's move on.
There are two themes I want to talk about on Ghostbusters. Do you want to talk about the theme I like or the theme I dislike, Bobby? Which one do you want to start with?
Let's hear what you dislike.
What I dislike. Okay.
Because I bet you I know what it is, and it's the fact that Huey Lewis in the News did not write the theme for this, and the theme is not New Drug.
Yeah, that's it. I Want a New Drug was clearly gifted for this movie, and fuck no. No, we gotta go with Ray Parker Jr. for some reason. No. Ghostbusters is awesome. That song. And the movie.
Yeah, and so is Huey Lewis.
But no, this movie is pretty like as a kid you don't really notice it growing up, but it's pretty super capitalistic.
Oh yeah.
It's all about these guys, and they decide to make something work, and of course it works out, and the government just gets in their way, and they can't solve the world's problems until the government decides to get out of the way. And the government has to get out of the way so the business can fix the world. And yeah, you know what? I'm just happy it doesn't cancel out the movie, because I do find that whole theme kind of cringy. Ivan Reitman has come out very publicly and said that he is very much a capitalist, that he was very much into those ideas in this movie and tried to push them forward as much as possible.
Yeah.
I don't know how much was actually in the script. I don't like Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd. I know there's evidence that they were behind the theme that I thought was positive in this movie, which we'll get to in a little bit. But yeah. So any thoughts on Ghostbusters and capitalism?
That's a hot take. It's a bit to unpack.
Yeah, well, the good news, it doesn't kill the movie, but
No,
yeah,
that's
it's
that.
very
No,
much.
it doesn't. It doesn't. This is just genuinely the first time I've ever heard that take.
Oh, you've
so
not heard
I'm
that
just,
one? Yeah, no, it's
no.
that's a big part of the movie. It's them just, government gotta get out of the way so the business can save the world. That's and it's
you're
a
right.
popular
It's kinda,
idea in the '80s.
oh yeah, and it's kind of they wanted to kind of get that idea across as best they could.
Well, let's see. Well, do you want to hear the positive take now?
Yeah.
All right. So throughout this movie, lots of the ghosts, they bring up religion. In fact, I believe both Egon and Ray bring up the Bible specifically in relation to Gozer and things like that, how it's biblical. Ray even has a biblical citation he likes to bring up. And it's brought up quite a bit through this movie. And how do they fight this biblical event? They do it with science. They do it with these little technical gadgets that they invented. And here's something I love. It's Winston's involvement in this idea. Because Winston comes in, and Winston's not the scientist. He's your everyman. And what the scientists do is they give Winston the tools so he can use their gadgets and kill gods. I always thought that was fucking cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because Gozer, was a god.
Mm-hmm.
And technically Vita was? I mean, he was or Vigo. Yeah, Vigo,
Well,
technically
we aren't in the second one yet, but yeah.
No.
Ghostbusters 2 actually fudges with that idea quite a bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, quite a bit, but
yeah, a little bit.
But yeah, I always just
that
scientists with their gadgets are going to go out there and kill gods, and they're going to stop Doomsday with their science. And the only way we can prevent Doomsday by listening to science.
Yeah.
Which is now a super controversial take, which is like, okay.
All right. Yeah.
Apparently listening to science is a hot take now. Okay. I love society.
Oh, man, it's yes.
But yeah,
so
I will say
one more thing I did.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. One thing I wanted to bring up about Ghostbusters 1 or talk about with Ghostbusters 1
absolutely.
that I really have always loved about this. I get this very much with like the on-screen chemistry with the actors like Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray and Harold Ramis. Like you could see like the years that they've worked together and just in their relationship and how well they act and like carry on with each other. I feel it always feels very fluid and very natural. Like I always believe that these three guys, they've been colleagues for years, and it's easy to sell that. But I mean, you're making movies with your friends, so that's an easy sell. That's easy to sell. But I don't know. I guess with this movie, there is that like those four walls of like my belief of that universe I'm watching. And I guess like it's way more convincing, and I kind of forget that they're all buddies outside of that movie.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
No, they all have their characters, but they all play it very like naturally. It just kind of works.
Yeah,
like you can think of them as real characters, even though they're just playing characters, and they're
they're just playing.
They're three gifted actors, and they are three gifted comedians. Their dialogue like. They'd say crazy stuff, but their dialogue felt very natural. I kind of love all the actors. There's an amazing amount of talent on display for this movie.
And I mean, Ernie Hudson, I feel, is very much criminally underused, but he still is playing like the role of the straight man in this. Like, he's kind of like an outsider looking into this world. With a lot of it, but he doesn't really question any of it because he has faith in the guys on his team.
Exactly.
And he trusts them. So it's like, oh, okay. So what does that mean?
To the science.
Yeah, he just listens to the science because it's like, I mean, maybe it's because these men are his boss, but I don't know. And I really kind of wish there was more scenes like the one of him and Ray driving in the car.
Yeah.
Like the bonding scenes, and we see more of them bonding as a team.
Ernie Hudson is, in my opinion, criminally underused in this movie, and even worse in the second one, because in this movie, they set up, like, he was supposed to come in earlier, but they originally planned it to be Eddie Murphy, but that, of course, didn't work out. So they just kind of reduced the role quite a bit, and then they got Ernie Hudson in to do the role. Yeah. And Ernie Hudson does a great job.
He does.
And I would love to see more of him in this movie, but he doesn't pop up till probably about 50% through the thing. But he's great. As a straight man, he's amazing. Like, his little comments to all their crazy shit he nails it.
I think the first 2 times we hear him just like, probably at the character's point where he's just so on board with them that he's just frustrated with everyone else is definitely first in the mayor's office, where he's like, I have seen shit that'll make you turn white.
Yeah.
And once they're facing Gozer, and he's the one who falls up flat and does that whole chest plant, like that slams his whole body on that plate of cement. I watched the scene back a few times to figure out, because I always thought, why is he leaning down like that? Like, what happened to Winston? And why are they all three in that corner and he's all the way up there?
Yeah.
So, like, I kind of watched where they all were standing and went back, watched the scene, played it over and over. Yeah, so I guess he flew up and just landed flat right on this, like, kind of bench-looking thing.
But then,
it looked painful.
But then when he did that, he probably got the biggest line, possibly the biggest line in the movie. Ray, when someone asks you if you're God, you say yes.
The man with no scientific degree or anything.
Yes.
The straight man. So just...
Dude.
That's probably one of my favorite lines in the movie.
Well, it's a no-brainer.
I was going to ask you, like, what... Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites. This, yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
Yeah, that's a great one.
I mean, I think it's just as funny that Dan Aykroyd, what Dickless here doesn't realize.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh.
Just like just like the insults they're throwing at him in the mayor's office.
Oh yeah. Just not caring. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. It's a great movie in just so many ways.
So much.
I forgive the capitalism so much because fuck yeah, I love this.
It is, and I mean,
the thing.
Still, there's even parts that like I kind of there are things that I wish were better in it, but they're minor, and it just has to do with the ghost in that.
Yeah. Well,
that's all.
Like,
I think it would have been creepier to see the books being stacked than them going from aisle to aisle. But that still is kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a.
Yeah, I definitely had a place I wanted to go.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, crap, I really wanted to go there. Shoot.
Or I could just start nitpicking. Maybe that'll help trigger your memory a little.
Oh, I'm trying to remember. But yeah, there was something I very much wanted to talk about here, and I had it.
Or the fact that there wasn't slime on any of those books, but yet the whole Dewey Decimal System has just been destroyed.
That was something I did want to bring up, and that might have been it. So that actually is perfect. So Slimer, we noticed this, my daughter and I, when we were rewatching this. Slimer, when in the hotel, goes through that wall, and we noticed when he went through the wall, we just see slime just generate on that wall after he flies through it, which was just a fucking great touch. I loved that.
Yeah. That is a very subtle but nice.
Yeah, it's a little attention to detail like that really helps build this world. And it's worth noting that this world feels way more realistic than Ghostbusters 2016, which almost just feels like a comedy world.
It felt like I was watching if if it existed in the same universe as every single Hanna-Barbera cartoon about a group and a vehicle and some animal.
Yeah. Ghostbusters 2016.
Like,
yeah,
like that Hanna-Barbera, modern day universe.
Mm-hmm. And I say
With,
that
like,
even also saying that Ghostbusters 1984 much funnier than Ghostbusters 2016, which is interesting. But yeah, I love how it's set up. Anything you want to add before Ghostbusters 2?
No.
Mm-hmm. Well, Ghostbusters 2, the sequel everyone wanted, and nobody. Then it happened.
He-Man. He-Man.
Yeah, I know. This movie just starts out, and the Ghostbusters are it starts out fairly early, where we get Winston and Ray going to work in the car
On a call.
Yeah, sirens
it
going
looks
off.
like a call.
And it's a fucking birthday party, and they're just there to entertain. And I don't like apparently this movie, they say everything that happened in the first one where they saved the city, it was entirely faked by them, and they had to repay all the damages, so now they're massively in debt. And
then the city sued the ever living bejesus out of them.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
I don't believe it for a second. So like in the first movie, we see them going all over the city doing ghost calls during that montage, but that was all bullshit. Apparently,
actually, I do believe it, but
I
do believe it.
I think it's some weak force writing.
I mean, it's not plausible.
But so the Ghostbusters are disgraced, much like they are in the first movie. But then they start investigating a ghost, and it's Dana's baby. How does Dana?
No, it's well, what happens is
there's a couple
they
of
go and
factors. I don't.
Yeah, I think they had noticed this weird energy coming from underground, and saw like the track and where it headed right towards the museum. So they decided, something's something's causing all this energy to gravitate there. Let's go check it out. And they go check it out, and while they're there, they see Dana, and they're like, "Oh, hey!" And she says, "Like, this painting gives me the creeps ever since we brought it up from storage." And I think Egon had the PKG meter out.
Yeah,
and he was just saying this whole room is crazy with activity. So I think that's where they started doing some digging more.
Yeah, well, that's
when I think they dug. Well, no, I think first they dug the hole, right?
Yeah, well, they dug the hole.
They dug the hole.
I think that has been near the museum or Dana's place, but they dig a hole in the street, acting like construction workers. Egon's great in that scene where the cop pulls him over, and they all have this crazy New York accent, and Egon's just like, "Yo,
what are you doing? Huh? Hey." It's like, what?
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray nail it, and Egon's like,
boss. I mean, that would be me, Egon. Like, just stop, like, huh? What? See my cohorts, boss.
But they dig a hole in the street, and they find this river of slime that is feeding off the negative intentions of New York. And I'm gonna tell you straight away that that's an aspect that I kind of love. I think that, like, as your like starting idea for a supernatural idea, that's fucking cool. You could do a lot with that.
That is a very great idea. It's like something that gains power off of negative energy.
Yes. And I do think that's like a remnant of the original idea they had. So like I read an article. What was the source? Bill Murray was talking about IndieWire, but he was talking about the Ghostbusters 2 and how he wasn't really excited to do a Ghostbusters sequel, but he sat down with I believe it was the four main guys. The four main guys in this franchise are Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, Dan Aykroyd, and Ivan Reitman, the director of the original. And essentially, in their contract, they cannot make a Ghostbusters movie unless all four of them said yes. So, anyways, he sits down with them, and I believe Sigourney Weaver. I know Sigourney Weaver and Annie Potts were there. I can't imagine Rick Moranis and Ernie Hudson not being there, but I don't recall them being mentioned. That'd be weird if they weren't there, though. Okay.
A little bit, yeah.
But anyways, they were there. Egon. Harold Ramis pitched his idea for Ghostbusters 2 to him. He loved it, and they got along. They were like bouncing around ideas for this movie. It was come together great. Bill Murray was super excited for it, so they all signed off on it. They're like, yes, we're doing Ghostbusters 2. So come a couple months later, Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd have the script put together. Bill Murray comes to shoot, and it's completely different. And he was not fucking happy about that. Now, I do want to stress, he does say he loved working with the guys on this movie. He just was not happy with, like, the end result or the script of this movie. And
the final product.
I get that. But, like, upon that story, it won't even... like, we don't know the full, like, inner workings. But I think a large part of the reason we can kind of infer, large part of the reason we don't have a proper Ghostbusters 3 is probably because Bill Murray said, I want to see the final script before we shoot. That's probably the type of control the studio doesn't want to give up.
Yeah, and I know that I don't want to say that he was the cause of the delay for a true sequel to Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
But it kind of, with the property, that's how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that getting Ivan on board to direct was something that did help kind of grease the wheels a little for Murray.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
From what I've read, this is all from like what I've read through countless medias.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's all the coverage that this movie got as soon as like it was announced that all three of them were set to make a cameo, which. Thank you, media, for spoiling that for everybody.
Well, we were fairly sure it was going to happen.
Before,
But, you know, they did spoil it. And it's good they don't spoil it.
They didn't.
Play home.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah, this movie, I'm you know what, I don't think I've said it yet, so I'm just gonna say it. This is my least favorite Ghostbusters movie. Despite the good ideas.
Now, I enjoy Vigo as a villain.
I think, yes. I think...
He is definitely, like, I enjoy that story way more. I just wish that it went more with the possession stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I, like, Bill Murray said he liked the idea from Harold Ramis. I almost suspect in that room... The idea they had, okay, we have a river of slime that feeds off negative intentions. We have this evil painting from whenever, 1,000 years ago. You know, and, you know, these are great fucking ideas.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's surrounded by a really fucking weak remake of the original Ghostbusters that doesn't need to happen. And there's lots of aspects here that they actually, like Annie Potts, Janine Melnitz, they changed the look of her character to make her more cartoonish, and they did that exclusively because the real Ghostbusters was really popular. And that's it. Because
of the film Ghostbusters, which the only reason they had to go with the name The Real Ghostbusters is because there was already another cartoon property called The Ghostbusters that had nothing to do with busting ghosts. The only thing they busted were criminals of this. It was a Scooby-Doo knockoff. That's pretty much,
Well, just, like, I don't even understand. I'm going to make the character look like the anime character who is based off the real-life character that this character is supposed to be. What are you thinking?
Well, to sell toys. It's just like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's just like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You know, with them liking pizzas, make them seem more, kid friendly, for them getting their own individual color bandana so that you could tell them apart.
Yes, well,
and give them their own individual personalities, but really just kind of make them kind of carbon copies of each other. You know, Raph and Leo.
That's the thing. They didn't really. Well, it's in this movie too. We didn't bring it up before, but it's here too. There's lots of little like subtle adult jokes that are kind of placed in there.
There's quite a few in the first one too.
Well, yeah, I meant to look it up.
So how about this? I'll go back to her apartment and check her out.
Yeah.
Check out her apartment.
Ray is having dreams of a ghost blowjob, so
I don't think that was a dream.
Maybe not. Maybe not. We are dealing with supernatural elements.
I mean, there's a lot of question.
I meant to look up. Like, is that ghost played by his wife? It won't surprise me.
It wouldn't either.
What, Donna Dixon? Yeah. But yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Although one thing definitely Ghostbusters 2 really, like, failed at. Like, the soundtrack, the score mainly, the soundtrack sounds are worse, but the score itself is worse. Because in the original Ghostbusters, like, there's, like, this quirkiness to the soundtrack. Elmer Bernstein kind of suits the sound kind of amazingly well because its own unique, its own weird, unique tone, but kind of works.
Well, I don't know, man. The second one had Bobby Brown.
The second one, that score just sounds like a fucking cartoon. It goes from like kind of weird and quirky, kind of teetering, to just fucking sitcom
to sell
shit.
Toys.
Yes, and to
sell toys.
That's the thing.
Just as this movie had, just as Afterlife had all those sound effects to sell toys.
Yes.
You know what I saw before the wife and I went to go see this movie. We were walking around a local mall, which was by the theater, and we stopped into like one kind of like fandom a kid's toy store, but there were far more adults in there.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So I didn't feel bad walking in there, but I saw like a whole section of Ghostbusters, and I swear I saw those little tiny marshmallow men as tiny little plush toys, as keychains, as tiny little keychain magnets, as Funko Pop figures. It was a little ridiculous. I saw the plushies, and I was like, oh, too bad we don't have a dog.
No. Well, that's the thing. Like, the first movie, they weren't expecting to be so popular, especially with kids. And so, because of that, it's so thick in this one. And it's like they remade the original Ghostbusters in the worst way.
Made it more kid-friendly.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you think about it, Gozer, like that whole plot thread, that is some terrifying crap to introduce in a movie for kids.
Mm-hmm. Well, even here, I think the painting's fairly scary. I think the feel-good slime the feel-good slime is iffy. The Statue of Liberty stuff is kind of cringe, kind
of. We haven't even talked about one of my favorite parts of the entire movie is the courtroom scene.
The courtroom scene had
mostly
potential.
just because of Louis Tully.
Yeah,
because of Louis Tully in that.
What I want to understand with the courtroom scene is why wasn't Winston helping them at all at that point? Like he was doing the parties with Ray, and then he just kind of isn't there. Then he pops up after they're arrested. He
was doing some shows in New Jersey.
So I just looked it up. The actress who played the ghost, I forget the name, but it's not Donna Dixon, not Dan Aykroyd's wife. So, FYI.
Scandalous.
Because they probably weren't even in the same room together. But okay. But yeah, Ghostbusters 2. Yeah, the good feeling slime, the Statue of Liberty. Oof. Yeah, it's not particularly great. Peter McNichol. We do need to talk about Janos. Is that how you pronounce it? Janos? Yeah.
Janos.
Yeah, I don't know what accent he's doing, but...
The Upper West Side?
Yeah, I don't know. He's from New Orleans, obviously.
Yeah.
But, you know what? Peter McNichol, I'm not going to complain. He's almost always... I've never seen him do a half-assed job, and he's all in on this crazy character, and I can't get too upset.
Yeah, he's real spot on in this one.
Oh yeah, we were talking about the courtroom, and I was bringing up Ernie
Yeah.
Hudson. I feel like the only reason Ernie Hudson has such a limited role in this movie is because he has a limited role in the first one. It's like, oh, we aren't going to really use you till halfway through because we're remaking the first one for no goddamn reason.
But you'll still get a paycheck.
Yeah. Well, why are you underusing Ernie Hudson? He already proved himself in the first one. Use him in this one. Use him. It's super frustrating. I just don't get it.
It's criminal. I know. I agree. It's criminal.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, and it's worth noting. I was talking about the religious, kind of the science versus religion angle of the first one. That is pretty much thrown down the toilet with this one as they start using the mystical slime to fight the evil painting. So yeah, not so much science involved with that one. I think
the mystical slime replaced the religious stuff in this, I feel.
Yeah. Well, what, you get Ray and Winston with those little slime thrower things? Okay. Oh yeah, and Ray gets possessed at the end.
At one point.
For reasons.
At the end, yeah.
Yeah, it feels like that so feels like a story element that had more places to go, but didn't, like, was just there and over. Just
yeah.
I do.
So I have something that I always wondered, and I was even wondering this when I was rewatching them.
Mm-hmm.
So, in theory, that slime had been going under New York for a long period of time, right?
In theory.
So, do we know if that track came anywhere near Dana's old building?
Who knows?
Because I can't imagine she's in the same building.
No,
I wouldn't be.
I can't. Oh no, she got the same place, man. She loves that apartment. She's not moving.
It's
no matter
view,
how
man,
many
that
ancient
Central
gods
Park
try
view.
to kill her.
Well, I mean, that was a really nice view of Central Park.
Yeah. You
From
can
the
really
first
see the
one when,
Muggins well from that angle.
Yeah, you can see like a whole park full of them.
Ooh.
Well, New York City in that time period, yes. Now, I don't know, maybe, sure.
Yeah.
I don't think it's smart to go through Central Park at night.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't.
See,
I've never been to New York City.
I exclusively go through Central Park at night with $100 bills hanging out of my pockets. Because, not that I've ever actually done this because I don't live in New York, but this is something I would like to think I would do because I'm a smart guy like that.
Well, if I'm in New York City at night and I have to get to where I'm going by cutting through the park, if I happen to see a man that looks like Charles Bronson, I'm not going to go walk anywhere near him because I'd be afraid if I were following him, he would think that I was going to harm him and just get shot by mistake.
Yeah.
I just recently watched Death Wish 2,
Yeah.
or not the sequel, but a Death Wish film.
Mm-hmm. Well, it probably is Charles Bronson if he just walks up to you and says, "I wish I were." Oh my god, I thought you were. Oh my god. I wish.
I'm going to fix him it.
Yeah.
I'm going to fix him.
Ghostbusters 2.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie was really it has its really great moments.
It has good ideas. Yeah, and Egon is definitely the standout here. He has some great fucking moments. Like, almost, he gets so many great punchlines.
Like he was sleeping with
Ray, Egon.
Egon.
Fucking awesome.
What's funny is they both give him a look, and they do a shot to him, and he just looks so satisfied with
that
himself.
shit-eating grin. It's like, yeah. You got to say Ray, I get to say Egon.
It's like, and that's why I like Harold Ramis.
Oh, Harold Ramis is, he's probably my favorite of the cast, honestly, and
yeah.
He is very much.
When I was younger, it was when I was younger, it was like Aykroyd and Murray.
Yeah.
As I'm growing older now, it's Harold Ramis.
Yeah. He steals the show when he's on the when he's in the scene. It's
More so for his writing.
Yeah, well, writing and directing. He was a great director. Like, he knew how to... Like, he's definitely an actor's director. He knew how to put actors in front of a camera and get a fucking gold scene, you know?
Yeah.
But, oh, yes, and I did want to bring this up. So the Ghostbusters... So after the courtroom scene, obviously, they bust the ghost of the Scarelli brothers. Kind of cool little ghost designs. I'll definitely give it that.
Oh,
and, you know...
Definitely. But I will say that they were toned down in comparison to the ghost at the library in the beginning of the first movie.
Oh, yeah. Everything's
toned
down in
And I
this
think that they
movie.
were made to look like that, kind of to look more like the ghost that appeared on the cartoons.
Probably.
That were out at the time.
In fact, I would almost guarantee it.
Yeah, that's probably what I think.
Yes. And where was I going? Crap. Oh yes.
They busted
the
Scarelli
ghost,
brothers.
and they get reinstated. Listen, my brain is just, as I age, my brain is dribbling out through my ears. Give me patience. But yes, they bust the Scarelli brothers, or whatever they're called, and all of a sudden they're all welcome back to the city. They weren't con artists, now they're ghost busting again. And I, again, don't buy
They get threatened by a mayor's aide.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so now they're
this time
fine.
It's not Walter Peck.
So they weren't. So if we're gonna say they're fine now, so that we're gonna also acknowledge they weren't con men. Are they getting reimbursed at all for all that shit they had to pay?
Yeah.
I mean, this feels so forced. And they get these darker suits, which I feel like maybe, I don't know, maybe aesthetically they look better, but I prefer the classic suits.
Yeah.
And they actually have the Ghostbusters 2 logo on the suit. It's not the classic Ghostbusters. It's actually the ghost holding up the 2. Why? Like, that just seemed like a cute thing to do for the movie logo. Why is that canon in the fucking movie series? Why do we need that?
I don't know. And why does it seem like, he's busting out of the know in comparison to the original?
Yeah.
Which, you see, he just looks shocked by it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's in focus.
Yeah, no, I see it good. Good. I see good. Yeah. I speak good words.
Holographic. Yeah. And this guy, he's just all like stepping out.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's almost like he has to like, and actually what made more sense if he did the 2 with the other hand, so that way he wouldn't have to like pushing himself out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if that was the worst thing about this movie, it would be a great movie, but it's the ghost, the movie just feels like a very pale and weak imitation. It's sad. That is so sad, because, God, talk about a series with serious franchise potential. You could do a movie every couple of years with these guys busting some big ghost or god or whatever mythological thing you want to throw at them. It'd be awesome.
I mean, even the cartoon show dealt with some pretty dark elements for a kid's show, but that was also I wouldn't say a theme at the time. That became a little bit more prevalent, like a little bit later, where a kid's cartoon show would be able to dark with deeper themes, like Batman the Animated Series.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I know they had this on Netflix a few years ago. Actually, God, a long time ago. And I binge watched all of it because I was like, holy crap. Yes, I'm going to watch this. This is amazing. And I kind of found like some of the stuff I was like, wow, this is pretty heady for a kid's show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Some of those kids shows are actually kind of surprisingly good. Like
yeah.
They're not afraid to go heavy.
No, and I mean, I've noticed that with some kids shows even today. Yeah, this movie is afraid to go there, but hey, Reaganomics.
Yay, Reagan. But yeah, Ghostbusters 2. Blah.
Yeah.
Are we ready for the new one?
Yes.
Okay, we gotta get Ghostbusters 2 out of our system now. We saw the new Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yes.
This is really pretty damn good. What do you think, Bobby?
Yeah. I was thoroughly impressed, actually.
Yeah.
There are some things that I kind of saw and predicted they would do with it, the route they would take. There's a lot of stuff that I thought was very nice throwbacks, like a lot of the Easter eggs that were in there were really great.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a few that were like blink and you miss it. Like I watched somebody else's take on it and they pointed that out as an Easter egg, and I was like, oh, holy crap, I missed that one.
Okay, I probably missed
I was
those
too
ones
busy.
too. So,
okay, I guess we should say, since this movie did come out, like last week?
yeah, no, well, I mean, we're
this?
spoiling it like we always do.
Yeah, we're spoiling, so spoilers,
Yeah.
of course.
If you're wondering, go
fun.
watch
This isn't-
it.
yeah,
this is a good movie.
Yeah.
It's not great. It's good.
Yeah.
It's a very solid good movie.
It's solid. It's a solid Ghostbusters movie.
Yes.
But it's really nothing that hasn't been spoiled within the trailers. So while Paul Rudd is at the Walmart and he encounters all the little mini mushrooms, the one of them that goes across the grill and catches on fire, as he's melting down, he kind of gives a little thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
Just like in Terminator 2. I missed that in theaters. I didn't see that.
Oh, God. Yeah, I missed that too.
I was more like distracted watching the one that skewered two other marshmallow guys and was holding over the grill. That was hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
I missed the one. I saw the one that caught burn. I'm like, oh, he's just gonna melt through the grill. And then I was like, oh, look at that one. He's got them skewered. I totally missed the mushroom guy just giving a thumbs up, referencing Terminator. It's like, that's cool because I'd noticed there was like a lot of references to the 80s in that time period with Child's Play being on TV.
Yes.
With Paul Rudd having them watch Cujo.
Yeah, Paul Rudd is I don't remember the character's name, but he's essentially a summer school teacher, and he is just having them watch the R-rated horror movies while he's chilling in the back, essentially.
What's really funny is during that scene, there was a quote that the Phoebe and Finn Wolfhard's Trevor, their mother had said something. She kind of laughed like me as a mom, and then that scene happened. All right, guys, we're watching Cujo today. And
yeah,
I was like, you as a teacher, and I was like, yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
And I leaned over. It would actually be more like dementia, but yeah,
for sure.
We're gonna watch a foreign film today. We're gonna watch Dementia 13.
Ooh.
I'm gonna be in the office.
But
no, this movie was great. I liked all the little throwbacks were great.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of didn't like how they had to wait so long to spell it out that they were related to Egon, when it was obvious just from the promotional footage and stills of Phoebe's character alone. Looking at her going, well, I know that she's a Spangler.
Well, the scene that reveals it is when she's going through the closet, and you see the Spangler name. But that scene's in the trailer, so that kind of spoils it. So I get what you're saying, because I know why they wait so long to show us in the movie, because the characters themselves don't actually know. And I get trying to put us in that position. But if you want to put us in that position, you can't spoil it in the trailer. You gotta choose a route and stick to it in both your materials.
Yes. You have to pick a way of marketing this and stick with it and commit to it.
Yes. And and you are right. She looks like Egon. She looks like a little female Egon.
And the characters, all the characters were great. I kind of felt that they didn't use Finn Wolfhard enough in this movie.
Yeah, no.
But I mean, he was used very much appropriately, but I kind of like that it was more focused on Phoebe's story.
Yeah. Well, Phoebe was definitely kind of the Egon of the group. And yeah, she was the pretty much the lead of this movie.
Yeah. And I got one thing I will say is I've heard mixed reviews on this character in particular, and the ones that I feel are harsh is very unfair because he's a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But I am very happy that they did not sell that character podcast at any of the advertising that I have seen, because he was kind of hilarious throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, no, I thought he was fine. He's a
Yeah,
kid with a podcast.
Yeah, it's cool, whatever, I get it. I think it was funny, but I mean, he had to be cracking up. I'm just very happy that none of the marketing really sold that character as podcast or who he was. Just showed him around, and that was it. I was just very pleased with. Okay, yeah, this kid's hilarious.
Yeah. But yeah, I actually
was very impressed with that.
You might get more with podcasts than we get with Finn Wolfhard's character.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, Finn Wolfhard's character gets a love interest, and kind of like the kids are essentially the new Ghostbusters. You have Phoebe, Finn Wolfhard, Trevor. Trevor is Finn Wolfhard's character. Podcast.
Yeah,
and then the girl that Trevor is interested in are like the new Ghostbusters. By the way, the girl that Trevor's interested in pops up occasionally.
Yeah, like she works with Trevor, and is the sheriff's daughter.
Yes.
Which I thought we would see more of the sheriff.
Well, there was that one actor who I can't think of his name, but he's all over the place. He was Shocker in the Homecoming.
Yeah, Bokeem
Wood something.
Woodham.
Oh, now we gotta look this up. This is why IMDb exists.
Woodbine.
Yeah, Bokeem Woodbine. I just brought up.
Bokeem Woodbine.
Yeah, beat me by a second. But yeah, he's definitely an actor you'd recognize if you saw him. If you don't recognize the name. Yeah. But yeah, he's all over the place. Oh yeah, the known for in the first thing is Spider-Man: Homecoming. Yeah, he's the second Shocker.
I know him from the movie Ray. He played Ray's trumpet player.
Oh God, I haven't seen Ray since that came out, so it's been a while.
And he was also in the movie Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. He was Can't Get Right.
You can't name a movie that's been even longer since I've seen.
Oh, come on. When is the last time you actually watched that? I watched that very recently. That movie's hilarious.
It's been a while. I remember enjoying it, but it's been a while.
It aged like wine, man. It's great. Yeah.
But yeah, he's a great actor. Probably the thing I saw him most recently in was Overlord, which was a great little historical zombie movie.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's awesome. But yeah, I expect him to have a much bigger role too.
So is it like in that same canon of the zombie submarine movie?
I have not seen the zombie submarine movie.
There is a zombie submarine movie.
Oh, I'm sure there's a everything zombie movie.
I think it's like SS Undead or something.
Have you seen Romy and Michelle's High School Zombies?
Regrettably, no.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Man, I hope Alan Cumming is as great as as he was before.
When is he not?
Well, true. The Mask too.
Oh, you see, I haven't seen that one, so I can't judge it. I haven't seen that one on purpose.
He could.
Is he no Tom Hiddleston?
Yeah, Tom Hiddleston wishes he was Alan Cumming. All right.
But yeah, I did expect the
Ghostbusters is Afterlife.
Yeah, I did expect the sheriff to have a bigger role.
Yeah, just more of just like the introduction to him. But I mean, it's definitely like you had said. Finn Wolfhard is definitely like the newer Peter Venkman of that series.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the parallels were very great in how they did that mirroring aspect, where it kind of was a little obvious of which of these kids is taking over the role.
Well, it's definitely not a 1-for-1 thing too. Like
no,
like largely, like obviously podcast is Ray, and I love how podcast tells Phoebe, here's my podcast. It really comes together in episode 46. And then the callback later with Ray's. Oh my god!
I was like, I think it really came together in episode 46.
Yeah, I love your podcast. It came together in episode 46. It's like, oh my god.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And he's just like, you're my subscriber. You're my.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah,
You're my subscriber.
But yes. They're essentially the new Ghostbusters. They're finding all this stuff in the dirt. They call him in this town the Dirt Farmer. And it's not clear who he is, even though pretty much the audience has pretty much figured out from the first scene that it's Egon, obviously.
Yeah, because we see a man in shadows, but what we see of the shadows, he has the similar like some facial hair and the hair and glasses, and it's like, oh, Egon.
Well, we see the gear. We know he must be a Ghostbuster, and he dies, which, yeah.
How he dies, though.
Yeah.
They say natural causes.
Yeah.
But
we know
never
it's
see
not.
a funeral, or we never see a funeral or anything, which I thought was odd.
No. Yeah, it's
But
yeah,
we see. Well, what we do see is the callback from the original Ghostbusters film, where the demon dog hands come out and grab him to the chair, and then like slides him into a closet. But then we later see the chair, and it still has like the claw marks through it. But the books are it opens up, like, it gets your attention immediately, and then we go to a shot of the mom, Phoebe and Trevor's mom, getting an eviction notice.
Well, like, going back to the opening, like, almost one of the first things you hear is the sound of one of those, what do they call them, the proton accelerators or whatever? The proton pack. Yeah. The first thing you hear is the sound of one of those things going off. And this movie really gave me an appreciation for the sound design in that original movie.
Yeah.
Because, oh my god, you heard that, you know exactly what it is. And that was brilliant sound design in that movie. Really.
Yeah, the theater we saw it in, man, I'm telling you, every time that they turned one of those on, like, I felt it seat. And, yeah, there's something about that sound that is just... It is so great, and it gives you chills when you hear it. It's so recognizable. And I mean, even in the trailers, the first time that it showed them turning one on, and I heard that sound, I was like, ooh, I haven't heard that in a long time.
It takes you back. It's like, oh, I know that sound. Yeah. I like that sound.
Know that sound. Yeah. And, well, we'll get to it, but later in the film, a character says, I love that sound. I audibly said, me too. Me too. I'm happy that the movie's aware that how great that sound is.
This movie also has a lot of music cues from the original, like an intense amount, but uses them, like, it doesn't use them sparingly at all, but it uses them appropriately. The one that we constantly heard in the first with Gozer's dogs. I thought they kind of pressed on the gas a little bit much on that one. Maybe. I will say,
my opinion.
Yeah, I will say I felt like just being out in the desert. Like, this movie borrows so much from the first one, so it's gonna get compared to that a lot.
It borrowed a lot from the first one, but it like I had mentioned earlier, it borrowed a lot from 80s films, like the mountain or the oil refinery in the beginning. You know what it kind of reminded me of a little bit, in like that opening shot, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah, I could see that.
Double Top Mountain, like. It kind of reminded me of that.
But but this movie, we get the return of Gozer, we get the return of Zool, we get the return of the Keymaster, and I don't recall if the Keymaster was ever given the name. The Gatekeeper, Zool.
Vince Clothor.
Vince Clothor.
Vince Clothor.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
I know. Nerd.
Yeah, that's pretty good, though. Hey, if I could pull it out, I would have. But, that's... It brings back all these things. But it also feels less epic, unfortunately. Because there's this whole big mine, and it feels like the energy's supposed to be much more focused in this mine than ever was in this building. But yet, seeing stuff happen on top of the building felt epic. Whereas here, it's like on the side of this mine, and it just feels like some empty rock quarry somewhere where they're filming. It feels like a set.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
I don't want to bash on it
the design in that
yeah.
mountain. No, yeah. Well, the set design of that particular room in the mountain with like all that evil demonic bullshit art and everything, which led to that throne room. I thought that looked pretty decent. I just wish we got to see more of it and not behind a torn and frayed tarp.
I like that too. We don't see a whole lot of that. We get.
I mean, I like that they kept it hidden. I just wish that they did more big, wide shots of it where we could see the whole thing and, like, you know, take some appreciation, because all the close-up stuff I thought was great.
Yeah, definitely.
Everything looked amazing, and the sets looked great. Even the demon dogs in the shots that they had to make CGI, but the ones that were clearly a practical effect. Like an actual puppet, that was great.
I appreciate they actually had practicals demon dogs here, because those looked great.
Like when it's on top of the hood of his car.
Yes.
Holy crap, that looked. I was like, all right, that's
a little terrifying.
That's a little terrifying, but like, okay, cool. You made me kind of scared of these things again.
Yeah. What? Like the demon dogs definitely look better, but a lot of the stuff, it's iffy. Like, Gozer in the original is obviously kind of wearing this weird cloth suit with some glitter, but the camera pulls back a lot. So, like, you don't get that much in the way of close-ups. Here, I feel like you get a lot of close-ups, and you get, like, it just very much looks like a woman with makeup on in a plastic suit. And it does the movie a disservice.
She kind of, before she... Gozer kind of looked like a figure skater from like some sort of like ice theater show. This one, Gozer was missing some skates, and
and I definitely feel like they could have done a better job with that. But
it took me and the wife a while to kind of figure out where this movie was placed until they actually mentioned Oklahoma.
No.
Because I don't think they had mentioned it previously until like maybe a little bit midway into the movie. I think when Phoebe wanders into Paul Rudd's office.
Okay. I actually didn't know that. I was just guessing somewhere out west.
Oh, we honestly first thought it was maybe one of the Dakotas.
Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah.
Oh. My brain's dribbling out my ear. But
that's okay.
But yeah.
One of the roles I did see that surprised me, I want to say it was J.K. Simmons played the old guy. Yeah,
that's exactly where I wanted to go to.
Oh,
they brought
cool,
Shandor in.
Yeah,
the architect of the building. He's actually in this movie, and he's played by J.K. Simmons, which is kind of amazing. And he has like 3 seconds of screen time,
and then he's fucking ripped in half.
And okay.
Did not see that.
Well, like especially when I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure that's J.K. Simmons. Oh, they must have a role. No, I guess it's to fuck with the audience, which I guess to a degree I have to appreciate.
The whole time it's going like, man, that guy has a lot of makeup on. What? He looks kind of familiar, and he sounds kind of... Oh, he's ripped in half.
Yeah. I just remember thinking, that looks and sounds a little bit like J.K. Simmons, a little bit like J.K. And he's dead.
Yeah, to me it sounded familiar. I was like, it just kind of clicked. Like that sounds familiar. Where do I know? Oh no, doesn't matter now.
This is a great movie. Well, it's
Yeah,
I guess I don't want to go full into great because this is a very, very, very good movie. This is the second best Ghostbusters movie. Low bar.
yeah,
But yeah, it's I really enjoy this. I do have a question for you, Bobby.
yeah.
Do you have any theories on why Egon took all their stuff, abandoned the guys, and didn't leave an explanation? Because I kind of wish they explained that more.
Probably because Ray had mentioned that he kept going on about Doomsday, and maybe they all just didn't believe him enough and do it, and he just probably thought, well, if they're not going to believe me, I'm going to have to figure out a way to do this myself.
Maybe.
And I that's, to me, it slightly seems a bit out of character for him.
Yeah.
But then again, we never really saw him dealing with a threat of that level.
Yeah. Well,
and if it was Gozer coming back, I imagine that he would want to make sure that it does not happen again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to me, it kind of felt kind of flimsy, and it felt like it added a little of extra drama, but they didn't do anything with it, so it was completely unnecessary. Like, I felt like it would have had the same impact if they were just like, oh yeah, Egon. I haven't seen him for a few weeks. What happened?
Yeah.
They just
I'm also kind of happy that they didn't show like Ray getting a hold of Winston and Peter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Again, spoilers.
Yeah, no.
We get to see the trio back, yeah.
We don't get to see just the trio though, because there is it can't be Harold Ramis, but it looks so good. It's gotta be a mixture of an actor and probably some CGI, but we do get a ghost Egon that looks amazing.
It looks really, really good.
Like, for all the visuals I was just bashing on this movie for, mainly with like Gozer and all that, this visual makes up for it in fucking space. It is.
It does, and I mean, I'm not made of stone. It made me and my wife both tear up a little bit the whole time. And in the scene, he helps Phoebe. You see a hand come over where her one hand is holding the Ghostbusters the proton blaster, as if he's like kind of coaching her a little. Yeah, just that's how you hold it.
Well, throughout the movie, he's helping her out too, which I thought was a great touch.
We see lamps and we see one shine towards something that he obviously like this, the spirit here, which I knew as soon as the first time that lamp moved, I was like, it's Egon. I was like, it's Egon. Yeah, that's nice. And
he's helping her fix the gear and stuff, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that, and she opened. It's like, how did you do? You did it with this? Why did you do? No. Yeah. And she makes it a little better.
Yeah, but
that's when it's like, yeah. Oh.
You do get that one shot where it's all four of them blasting Gozer, and like they all look cool standing there, and then you just see the one by one. They all look over and look at Egon, just kind of like, what the shit?
All of them. Well, you see like Winston look over and kind of jump back, like, what? Yeah. And Bill looks over and just kind of looks back as if it's normal, just like, okay. And Ray, you see Ray look. And you see him just kind of have a real. You see him have. Ray needed a moment. Yeah. Ray had a moment. And the whole time you see them get to say their like kind of real final goodbyes to him. Yeah. And he even has a moment with his daughter
which he needed. I would have also I would have liked a better explanation as to why he was like never in her life. It did establish that he did keep an eye on her, made sure she was okay, which is nice, but that's a big thing to not be in your daughter's life. And Egon does not seem like the type of guy to skimp out of town just because he feels like it.
And they never talked about like the wife or her mother.
Yeah, I mean, just based on the previous movies, you might actually think her mother's Janine, but nope. No.
Yeah, like I kind of was thinking that,
Mhm.
and that was Grandma there.
No, Janine pops up
Nope.
briefly, but she introduces herself. They don't know each other.
But I think she knows who they are.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, no. Janine knew
She
who they were,
absolutely,
but I don't think she'd ever met them before. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, and she was also probably told by Egon, "Do not tell them."
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
I'm sure he did it probably for maybe just keeping her safe, keeping her away from what he was doing. That's like like the superhero thing. Like your loved ones would get hurt.
Yeah, but this is a good movie. I do want to bring up one cringe line because they just had to bring capitalism back in, where Ray very briefly says, "When we start out, times were good. Reagan." So cringe. So cringe.
No. I groaned, and my wife and I both rolled our eyes.
You were doing so well. You just had to put in a cringe moment, didn't you?
Oh, Danny.
Yes, Reagan.
I mean, funny.
Trickle down
funny,
economics. Oh God.
Because they work.
Yeah. Trickle down is in the rich pee on you. That's what trickle down means, right?
It's like we're all kind of climbing up some sort of pissy rope that they're just peeing down on. I think that's what it means.
But yeah, I wanted to get that cringe line out of the way because overall, you know what, this is a damn good.
This really was, and it is taking the superhero route of post-credit scenes.
Oh yeah, we got 2 in this movie. The first one is kind of a fun one because Sigourney Weaver's not in the movie proper at all. But
because
she
they
gets
go
her
through the
mid-credit
cast.
scene.
Well, first they go through everyone who is like in with special appearances by, and it was the original was, and they say and Sigourney Weaver. Even at that point, it's like, wait a minute, where the hell was Sigourney Weaver?
Exactly, they said and Sigourney Weaver. I was like, where?
As soon as I said that, and as soon as I said that, it went to a clip, and we see Bill Murray out of focus and a card.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a couple wavy lines, and she's given him the psychic test.
Yeah,
and she's like, I can't believe you used to do this to your students.
Yeah,
and he was like, well, to be fair, I only shocked the male students.
Yeah, it's like, wow, that is so much worse. I guess we could have taken a moment to talk about how problematic he is, but he's not that bad.
That's
what we see, he's not that.
No, I mean he was cool.
Yeah, it does beg to question what are we not seeing. But
yeah, we really never talked about how.
It's not
we didn't
great,
really
but
talk. Yeah, you're right. We didn't get into how problematic he was in the first one.
Yeah,
and second one, telling Oscar that I could have been your daddy, might have been your daddy.
Yeah. Well, the second one's got a lot of other issues.
But it was funny, and this is the scene I think Rick Moranis could have came in. We could have heard like, "Hey." Oh God. Dana, Peter, you guys in there?
Yeah.
Just both. God, it's Lewis. Turn the lights off. I could hear you guys.
That could be funny.
Yeah.
Well, and that first post-credit scene was obviously just fun. And the second one was definitely franchise building.
It absolutely was franchise building, and it was kind of more of like, hey, if you didn't cry at the ghost Harold Ramis, well, here's a restored scene from Ghostbusters 1.
Yeah. They actually get a little bit of archive footage to have some new footage of Harold Ramis in this movie.
Which actually, I found out that also within the canon, I don't think we brought this up, but the video game that came out, I want to say in 2008 for Xbox and PlayStation.
I want to say something like that. I've almost bought it several times.
Yeah. That game is also within the same canon. So I guess before their major falling out after 2 and this one, somewhere that game takes place. I think maybe in between the events of 1 and 2. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, but that's a fun.
I believe the game is semi considered the third one. So between 2 and this,
maybe
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
this scene we see we see Phoebe going back through Egon's jumpsuit, and I guess one of the ones in the closet, and in that she sees a coin from the 1930s World Fair or 1929, I think, or something like that. And then it does a flashback to this cutscene where Janine was giving Egon this coin for good luck.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a coin from there. And he said, there's probably a good chance we won't be coming back. So you should really keep this. And she's like, it's okay. I have another one. And you see them kind of just give each other a hug before he leaves to go face Gozer.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut to a shot of her holding that other coin while she's in some office boardroom talking with Winston. And, she's just, giving him a lot of praise and admire and, accolades for all that he has done, how he owns his company now. And he's just talking about, well, I always thought yeah, he is a good businessman. And everything she said, I was like, wow, I would fucking love to work for him. I don't care. Even if I'm mopping the floors, it seems like I'm taken care of. But he just talked about how he also said, there's just one thing I always thought I could do. It's just what I always wanted to give back to those guys for what they told me. If I can do anything if I just put my mind and accomplish it. And if you believe in it and you get people to believe in it with you, you can do it. Just build the whole message of what they all taught him as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And then show shots of him driving Ecto 1 into Ladder 8.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, so it's no longer a Starbucks, because they did mention, the old HQ is now a Starbucks.
Yeah, it seems familiar. That's the other thing I was going to ask you. Ray's Occult Books, which I want to say the store in his second one, which was the store he has in Afterlife. I'm pretty sure it's the same store.
Yeah, it is the same store.
Mm-hmm.
And they also did mention that post-credit scene where I think she said, you still pay the rent for Ray's bookstore every month. And he's like, Ray will turn a profit someday.
Mm-hmm.
I know he will.
Yeah.
But Winston also didn't seem too bothered to be paying rent there at all. Which is, again, Winston is a great businessman.
Yeah. Well, we see Winston there, and then we see the containment unit downstairs, and we just see the light blinking, and they could have some fun. We have to see what they do. Yeah. I guess I want to see what they do. I guess it's worth noting this was directed and co-written by Jason Reitman, Ivan Reitman's son. Fun fact, Jason Reitman was the kid who was giving Ray and Winston shit at the party in Ghostbusters 2.
My dad said you guys are full of crap.
Yeah.
No, he says you're full of crap, and that's why you guys went out of business.
Yeah. That's the guy who directed this one.
I didn't know that. That's cool. That's a fun fact.
Yeah, that's a fun fact. But Jason Reitman has actually come around and been a really skilled director. Really up there with his dad. He's different, but
I don't think his dad
to describe the exact difference. But yeah.
Yeah, does his dad still make movies?
I don't know if he still actively directs. He might just be mainly producing at this point.
Yeah.
I think it's been a while since he's directed. God, I know he did Evolution in the early 2000s, and that
movie's
sucked.
You didn't like it?
Oh no. Oh, maybe we need to bring it on sometime and debate it.
Okay.
Not anytime soon.
I mean, I'm not gonna, champion for Orlando Jones womanizing by any means. That was vulgar of that film, but yeah.
Well, that movie did feel like it was kind of meant to be kind of a spiritual successor to Ghostbusters in a lot of ways. I did not dig it.
Sort of.
Yeah. Spirituals, obviously, they're not busting ghosts.
But I would definitely say it's not, maybe same cinematic universe, which is apparently
definitely not.
Which is now something that is apparently not out of the realm of possibilities now. Comparing film.
Well, this movie does a way better job of setting up cinematic universe than 2016, which I think part of the issue with 2016 is they fucked themselves by not at least trying to set it in the 1984 universe. Because then you already have part of your universe already fucking built, and then you just build it around there.
Yeah, and you just go on from there. It's like Minecraft.
Yeah, exactly. It's like... But, yeah. I don't know if I'm super excited for more Ghostbusters after this, but I'm intrigued, and
Yeah.
I haven't felt that way in a while about Ghostbusters. So, yay!
Yeah. Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I kind of wish that a lot of the critics wouldn't be hating on it as much, but some of their reasoning I get.
I haven't seen too much in the way of reviews on this. I will say, like, if they want to bash on it because it's doing lots of nostalgia callbacks, I get it.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, I get that.
Like it does a lot. It is a bit intense, but I don't know. I love the original Ghostbusters, so I'll suck it up.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up watching it religiously, so it's okay for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's overall getting good reviews.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is, like, if you can't handle nostalgia callbacks, this movie definitely isn't for you, because it is.
I think it's still people who are trying to stir up that same 2016 controversy, and
Mm-hmm.
I haven't read much into that, and all I've heard, like, I just try to, I avoided the headline. I just skimmed like a bit of the article because the headline kind of just made me roll my eyes, and it was about how woke critics are bashing Afterlife. Yeah, I made a similar sounding groan too.
I'm not gonna lie, anything that says the word woke now in the title just makes me kind of cringe.
Yeah.
I cannot handle that word anymore. It is so overused.
Yeah. Curiosity, got the better of me, and just kind of skimmed over, and it was all about, in most of that article and the reviewer, praising 2016 and saying how it was a better film overall, pretty much, to sum it up. Opinion. Hey, opinion.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I don't know.
Some people think The Quest for Peace is the perfect Superman movie.
Oh.
I think those people are wrong.
Yes.
And, they're allowed to have an opinion.
No,
even if it's
perfect.
wrong.
John Cryer was the perfect sidekick to Lex Luthor, always.
I mean, he really was. Not gonna
I think he's such a good sidekick that eventually he should play Lex Luthor himself.
I mean, he was better than Ned Beatty.
Okay, I'll give you.
Mr. Luthor.
Mm-hmm.
How can he not enunciate certain words,
Oh.
but say other words perfectly clearly?
Random fact, Ned Beatty might be the first person who was in both a Marvel and a DC property. Because he was in that Superman movie.
Property?
He was in the 1990 Captain America movie. The one where he's always stealing a car. Just a random fact out there.
Okay.
Just Ned Beatty. Everybody's like, oh, was it Ben Affleck? Oh, was it Ryan Reynolds? No. Probably Ned Beatty, if I had to guess. Probably.
I'm sure. Yeah, probably Ned Beatty.
There might be some obscure other person, but that's definitely the biggest one I can think of. He did them both by 1990.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so definitely.
But yes, Ghostbusters Afterlife cinematic universe. I'm interested to see. Let's see what they do. The opening numbers look pretty good for this movie, especially post-pandemic. So, we'll probably get another one at least. I hope the originals have a bigger role. In fact, I had mixed... Like, I really wanted to see the originals, but I had mixed feelings about them beating Gozers, since so much of this was about the new kids. Yeah. But then we get shots of them with Harold Ramis, and it's like, oh, but I love that shot. And it's not actually Harold Ramis, but Ghost Egon.
Well, then you see the kids. Then you see the kids with the originals all fighting Ghost. That was, how I hate to say this, but that's how you would pass a torch.
Yeah. And it is pretty much the kids that end up finally defeating Gozer. So, overall very good. Worth checking out. I hope. Well, a movie's more about the experience. You aren't going to experience the movie by listening to us yak about it. So if it sounds good, go check it out.
Go check it out. Go check it out.
But yes.
I will recommend that you order your tickets and concessions ahead of time.
Yeah.
I got my tickets ahead of time, not my concessions. That was regrettable. Yeah. That line moved slower than the airport.
Concessions seem like they're getting way more expensive anymore, I've been noticing.
They really did. And, I don't know, I think it had to have been maybe the theater I was at, and maybe I don't know, maybe it was the kid working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like, you want some butter? I'm like, yeah, I want a little bit of butter.
Yeah.
We're like, good God,
Yeah.
kid. Like, we have to carry that up
Yeah.
some stairs, my man.
Well, I want to say, like, I was actually kind of shocked because I was actually trying to watch my money right now because of Christmas. So I was like, okay, I want a large popcorn, and I couldn't see the prices, and I don't find them anywhere up there. And I was like, okay, what's the price for a large popcorn? They're like, well, this is like $10.50 or something like that. And I was like, I could have sworn that used to be like $8 something. And then, like, I was like, okay, large drink. And how much is that? Okay, that's about like, it was like the same price, like $10.50. And I'm like, I thought a large drink was like $6. And I want to stress, like, $8 for a large popcorn and $6 for a large drink. That's fucking wildly overpriced already for what
That
you get.
is.
So
that
get like
is obscenely
$10 a
priced.
pop. What's going on? I know we have inflation, but holy fuck, movie prices were movie concessions were already wildly inflated.
I'd lie if I said I didn't sneak concessions in.
You see, it's so tempting, but I don't want to get kicked out of the theater because I need to play nice.
I open the bag of candy before I go in the theater. Like, I'll like wear a coat with the breast pocket.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. God. Well, I love eating popcorn at the theater. God damn it.
Yeah, I do too.
It's so awesome.
I do too. There is something about it.
It's the
Like
thing.
walking in and just smelling all that popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
If I had money,
It's the one thing that I missed working at a movie theater the most. That's the one thing I missed the most, smelling that popcorn.
If
I
had the money, it'd be like large popcorn, large drink, and Twizzlers. Every movie I go to. The Twizzlers are usually just way wildly overpriced, and fuck, if all that stuff's $10, Twizzlers are probably like $25.50 or something.
They stopped. They were all out of Reese's Pieces. Otherwise, that would have been mine. I mean, they had Skittles, that was cool, but, popcorn, large soda, and some Reese's Pieces. That's my go-to.
Yeah.
And if they're out of both, Snow Caps.
Snow Caps. Yeah, I'll vary it up. It's 90% of the time it's going to be Twizzlers for me, but I'll vary it up.
But if I'm by myself, I will buy like a medium popcorn and just dump my Snow Caps in my popcorn and shake it up
fun.
a little.
I sometimes love Sour Patch Kids. Dump those in your popcorn. You get those little sweet, buttery patches of popcorn.
God,
yummy.
yeah, that little half melted gooey gumminess.
Yes, it's if you've never tried it, it's worth checking out. It's not something you really expect to really get a kick out, but it's kind of fucking fun.
It's actually kind of good. Yeah. So after we just talked to you about our favorite gorging snacks.
Yes. Add your favorites to the comments below.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to mix with popcorn in the movie theaters?
Or are we just heathens because we do that?
Yeah. And if you say you're soda, I will ban you because you.
Yeah.
I like my popcorn soaked in Pepsi.
Yeah.
You are banned. You are
ban hammer.
All right. Well, I will be blunt. I don't know what's up for next week. So,
yeah.
Next week we will have a podcast. I don't know what's up. So, we will figure it out next week.
Yeah.
I don't even know if there's any new movies. So, like if you listen to this early on, add a comment if there's something you want us to talk about. But we'll probably figure it out over the week, and then next week new podcast. Enjoy.
Yep.
Really enjoyed having you guys this time. Real quick add-on. We get to 100 subscribers. We will talk about the Scream TV series.
Yes.
So help us get to 100 subscribers.
Yes. Help us get to 100. We will talk about the Scream TV series.
Anything you want to add, Bobby?
No.
All right. Well, I hope everyone has a good one. I want to go ahead and add some audio credits at the end here. The theme music you're hearing at the beginning and end of this podcast was written and performed by George Johnson, a very good friend of mine. And my current Patreons are Fel Martins, David Lara, and Lindsay Pankhurst. If you'd like to become a patron, go ahead and follow the link down below. Anything you can provide would be incredibly helpful to this channel. We're barely limping by right now. I'd love to make this my full-time job. I'm miles away from that right now. So any help you could provide, just $1 a month would be amazing. You know you want to. All your friends are doing it.